Muy buenos días y gracias por estarnos acompañando una vez más aquí en Canciones de Domingo por KUHS Denver Radio y Televisión. Y tenemos unos invitados muy especiales que nos van a estar contando una de las historias que han tenido en su trabajo. Son investigadores privados y tienen muchas, ¿cómo se dice? Hacen muchas investigaciones en diferentes campos, por decir, si andan buscando a alguien, a sus padres biológicos, si son adoptados. Muchas veces no les da la información de la persona que los llevó a adopción y andan buscando a sus papás. Ellos pueden encontrarles a sus papás biológicos. También si quieren una investigación acerca de su esposo, su esposa o de quien sea, que quieran saber si están poniéndole, como decimos nosotros, los cuernos, si le están siendo infiel, pueden también comunicarse con ellos y también ellos hacen ese tipo de investigaciones, de todo tipo. Ellos son uno de los más grandes investigadores aquí de Denver, Colorado, y vamos a tener más información acerca de dónde los pueden contactar y todo eso durante el programa. Thank you so much for being with us here in Canciones de Domingo. We have very special guests today, and it's going to be very interesting information that they're going to give us. They're private investigators. And I'm so excited because, just hearing some of the stories that they have gone through, it is about everything. They're specialized on finding your biological parents. Mm-hmm. Like, when you get adopted, a lot of times the people that give you an adoption, they don't give the information, or they don't want you to know,
Correct.
who's the one that did them. So you guys always go out there and try to find the biological parents, mm-hmm. right?
Yes.
So if you think that somebody's cheating on you, you just give them a call. And so we have a lot of stories here. So I would like you guys to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your company.
My name is Sue Martinez-Kutcher, and I run CIA Colorado Investigative Agency. I'm the lead investigator there. I also own the agency. We do as well other things, not just the spousal and the child custody.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell us about
we also do some felony cases. We do a lot of locates, and it's just basically a lot of different cases we handle. So,
I'm Steve Kutcher. I'm an assistant. Basically drive and add a little color to it. That's about it.
Well, driving is a lot of help. I hate driving. So if I have somebody driving for me, that's a lot.
It does get interesting in Denver, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard too when you need two eyes on it. You're following somebody, so it's always good to have two people.
Exactly. Or more
so
than
you
two
can
people
take
sometimes.
pictures, yeah. More than two sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like pretend that I'm going to take a photo of you, come this way, and there it is. So I wanted to hear some of the stories that you guys, some of the cases that you guys have worked on. And start with whatever you want. If you want to tell us a funny story first, or, a scary one, dangerous, tell us something about, how you guys resolve the case or how you guys work the case.
Usually a client will come to us, they'll call me and let me know that they've got a situation. So we'll sit down and talk with them, take some time out of our day to figure out what's going on in their lives. And then once we do that, we can take the case history, and then we get on the case. And I can think of quite a few funny cases, serious cases, scary cases where we had to carry. So particularly, we call this the leaf story. Do you remember the leaf story?
Yeah.
We actually had to put in a tracking device. So we went up, they had everything cleared out for us. We located the vehicle. It was in the mountains, and it was really dark. It was like in the middle of the night. So, excuse me. So we walk up there and did not think it was in the fall.
Oh, sorry.
Lots of,
Yeah.
Lots of leaves all over the place. So we get out of the vehicle, and we're starting to walk up to the garage because he left it open for us. So we're walking up, and we get out, and we're all so confident and ready to go. And all of a sudden, we take our first step, and it's crunch. I turn and look at him, and he takes a step, it's crunch. Every step we took was crunch, and then we started walking faster, and it was crunch, 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 crunch.
There was no way you could avoid those leaves.
There was no way, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is really gonna be hard to do," and try not to have anybody hear us. So we walked all the way around the house, crunching all the way. We finally got the tracking device in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that scenario?
Yeah. it was rather simple to put it in, but just getting there, one of us got the giggles, and then it like kind of spread, and so every time somebody crunched, it was like.
Oh, we got the giggles. It was so bad. We had to walk and try and get down, and then we were crunching and laughing, and oh my gosh, we thought it was going to take forever.
Well, you know, it sometimes it makes you laugh more when you can't.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know, it makes it funnier.
And you're supposed to be quiet because you don't want to. Yeah. And then he laughs and I laugh, and it's just out of control.
Well, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, and so there's no noise at all except
Our crunching.
You know, yeah. And that was just it. It was like crunch right in the middle.
Was
of
it a
nothing.
big house?
It was a big
Yes,
house.
it was.
Maybe that's why it helped that, you know, they couldn't hear you. You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes when it's bigger, the house is harder to hear any noise outside. So, wow, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, it was
That was
intense.
good.
It was intense, but needless to say, we got it in and got out of there. But it's one of our funny stories.
So, what other one you want to talk about? Like a scary one or dangerous one?
Actually, you want to talk about the that house we went to? We call it the Italian Mafia house. This lady came to us and said she had a situation, and it involved surveillance. So we got to the house, and we started watching, and things just did not feel right. You have this gut instinct when something's not right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we started seeing people looking out of the door and the windows, and they weren't supposed to know we were there. Our first instinct was, oh no, she told somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're being set up for something not so good. So we're watching again, and I text the client, and I said, what's going on? She says, what do you mean? And I says, everybody's looking out the window. And she says, I don't know what's going on. That's just my husband. He's just looking out the window. And I'm like, why are they so paranoid? What are they looking for?
Because you can feel like their vibe too.
You can feel it.
Yeah, like it's not just looking. It's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they also had vehicles in the area. There was a lot of vehicles with people in them looking at the same house.
Oh my God.
I know. And we're like, there is something to this. There's something wrong. I don't feel right about this.
Mm-hmm.
So we went ahead and just watched a little bit. All of a sudden, one of the vehicles, it was a truck, they leave their area. They come to where we are.
Oh.
And they sit next to us. And they're looking in at us, and I'm like, oh, just play it off. Just pretend, you know, we're just, because it was in front of, we had gone to 7-Eleven up the street to watch them. And I'm like, just play that off. Just don't, you know, just pretend we're not, you know, we're just sitting here or whatever. He got tired. He left. We noticed the back of his plates were blocked out.
Oh.
So you couldn't tell who they were.
Mm-hmm.
Then I looked to the right, and I saw another vehicle sitting there, and it was a rental car.
A white sedan.
A white sedan. And they were also watching. So I'm like, okay, this is it. There's something going on. And it was, the fact that it's rental could either be federal investigators, and we've dealt with them before, or somebody else, and it just started getting really messed up.
Weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, we need to leave. We need to terminate right now. We need to leave. So we did. We left, and we got followed out of there. It took us an hour and a half going through the streets of Denver to lose our tail.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is scary.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were at least 4 different agencies in on that one, local as well as the feds.
Right.
So that's why you think it's like it was something related
There was
to
something
Italian.
major. Well, these people at the beginning, you know, had just, I think that they were gypsies of some sort, because we had put a tracking on one of the devices, and we went back to retrieve it after this because we didn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
And it was illegal tracking, by the way. we were allowed to do that. Some of them you're not, but we were in this case. It was a felony case. So we went back to get our tracking device, and it was, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, yeah.
And and the first night we went, it looked like, you know, it looked like they were getting ready to move out or something.
Oh.
The second night we went back, the house was vacant. It was vacant. They up and left in the middle of the night.
The blinds were tore up. and
Blinds were
everything.
torn up, lights were left on, there was nobody there.
Mhm.
Then we started thinking there was really something to this case.
Wow.
Yeah, and so what I did is I downloaded the satellite information, and I was able to track them by the addresses they had been to,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to find the vehicle and get our device back, but that was intense. We never found out what they were involved in, needless to say.
But you're happy that you left the case.
Very happy. We've had some that didn't turn out so well. We ended up in court, so yeah, we're very happy.
There were
Wow.
2 other situations that happened during that case too. One, we were on surveillance a couple of nights before that. We were just watching the house, and 2 houses down, we were watching vehicles go in and out, and this was at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Another drug house.
We were watching this guy deal drugs out of his house, the next door neighbor. We're
Yeah,
like, well,
it was
we're not on you, so.
Right, right.
But it was very interesting. It was so evident what they were doing.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
pretty weird.
It is.
Yeah. So tell us about another cases. Let's talk about finding biological parents. What's one of your best stories?
I think one of my best stories was, it wasn't the biological parent so much as the child.
Oh.
And what we did is the father had come to me. His child was taken away from him when he was just a baby. And he didn't keep in touch with the mother because it was a very bad separation.
Oh.
And he just wondered how he was and how things were going. And he said, can you find my son? And I was like, I can try and find him. And I just got the information he had, which wasn't very much. So it took a while to locate his child. We had made sure it was him. We took pictures. We sent them to the dad. He was so overwhelmed. He says, I want to talk to my son. Can you give me the address? And we don't do that.
Oh.
That's one thing we will not do, is give you an address of someone to not, to violate their privacy. So we actually said, do you want to write a letter to him and give him your contact information? That's how we dealt with that. So we were able to do that, and they had a reunion. It was beautiful, and they were able to catch up on time that they lost while he was growing up without his dad.
Oh.
And his dad was able to, have a relationship with his son.
How old was
very
this
heartwarming.
son?
His son was already a teenager. I believe he was 18, 19 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did the mom say about this?
She basically didn't say anything about it because he was of age to reach out to his dad.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
I was
that's why-
wondering. If
yeah,
you know,
and I think that's why the dad waited, because it was so much turmoil in the marriage that
Very volatile.
very volatile. So he was old enough though to make his own decision. And I think that's why the dad waited so long.
because I think, what about if the kid was like 15 years old and the mom is like, I don't want you guys to get any information or anything like that. You just get back to the dad and said,
Well, usually we won't get involved in that situation. I like to find out, is there a restraining order, number one? If something happened inside the household and, they're not allowed to be around them, then we're also not allowed to contact them. So you always want to make sure, excuse me, you always want to make sure there's no violence in the household or any danger for anybody involved. So you do have to do your homework before you do anything like that.
wow, that is, it's kind of sad sometimes. I mean, if you find the person and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it is. I
They
mean,
don't always turn out positive,
They
but
don't.
you do your best to try and make them turn out positive.
yeah, we've had cases where the parents actually didn't want anything to do with the child. Well, they're not a child anymore; they're adults
the
now.
adults, yeah.
And one side might, and the father's side and the mother's side may not. And you've got to tell, this to the client. Well, I'm sorry, but they really don't want a relationship with you at this point. And that's always sad.
Yeah, especially because I know if you're, older enough to go to you guys and say, you know what, I would like to get a hold of, my parents or
Yeah.
just any family member, I guess, it means that your whole life you've been thinking about it, like,
Yeah.
waiting for this moment and then to get those news back. That's
Yeah.
sad.
And nobody knows more about that than my husband Steve here, because he was adopted.
Oh,
And he also, we look for his biological family.
you found him?
I was adopted at 2 days old, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, and so they took me away from my birth mother. She saw me briefly for a few minutes, and that was it. And didn't see her again until just after I turned 30. And that was a struggle, because I had looked and looked and looked for many, many years and turned up nothing. And this is long before Sue and I even met. We're going back 20 years. And finally, it was a kind of a freak break in little clues here and there. And all of a sudden, bam, we got a name and made a couple phone calls and got her mother on the phone. It was actually my paternal grandmother. And and spoke with her briefly, and then she hooked us up with my birth mother.
Wow.
And it wasn't 2 weeks later we were on a plane and met with her. The funny part of that story was that I had spoken with her for a good, probably 30 to 45 minutes on the phone before I ever realized that she wouldn't know my name.
Yeah.
That is
and
so
so
true.
and so I finally introduced myself after that, and I said, initially I said, this is, your son, I believe. And she then admitted it right away. She said, "Oh yes, this is," and she started crying on the phone, and it was just, it was pretty amazing. And I've been very close with that half of the family. The sad side of that is the birth father side.
We're right now looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We had clues as to who he was, but it turns out, and my birth mother has passed. She passed a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
so
had a
sorry.
really good relationship with her. We both loved her.
She was a wonderful lady.
She is.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
you guys had about 20 years
Yes.
relationship with her.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
it
nice
was-
that
it
you
was
were
beautiful.
able to. I mean,
Yeah.
She was an amazing soul,
Yeah.
and she had her reasons for what she did, and they usually do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's just not bad, people that they just want to get rid of their kids. There's
Absolutely.
so many reasons that
So
can happen.
many.
Yeah,
So
she had a
many.
tough situation at
She
the time, and I fully understand, and I don't harbor any harsh feelings towards her at all. The main thing of that was right before she passed on, she started putting out hints that there may be another gentleman involved.
Okay.
May have been another gentleman involved.
Right.
So, we're in the midst of exploring that
Yeah.
now.
Well, good luck
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, we're also we're going to be using the, taking the DNA test.
DNA.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well,
And
thank
we've
God
used
for that, right?
Yeah, when we've used it, it's very telling us who your family is.
Wow, that is so amazing. That's one of the things that a lot of people are not getting away with, like this is your kid, because
Yeah.
there's proof now.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I know sometimes the results get alterated or something, but you have to really have some heavy contacts, to be able to do that type of stuff. So.
Absolutely.
You do. I mean, and there's sometimes you're on the field and you do everything you can and you run into a roadblock. I have a case like that right now. You just run into all these roadblocks and it's like, well, let's find out if it'll lead us to a family member. And if it does, we can do the legwork to go in and talk to that parent or whoever's still around and try and negotiate having you reunite. So.
Yeah, exactly, because, sometimes when you pass a lot of time, who knows if they're still alive. So that's the sad part, getting there and it's like, oh, I was never able to see what really happened, what the story was, and
Where I came from.
So yeah, exactly, or to say, I love you, maybe she loves me back, or he loves me back, and
Yeah.
that is sad, but, I wish you good luck with your case. That's
Thank
interesting. You have to get back to us and tell us, what
Absolutely.
happens.
You bet.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, any other cases that you guys would like to talk about?
What about, yeah, I do. I remember one that, in particular, one night we were on this case. It was actually a felony case, and we didn't find out till later that he was involved in some other shady stuff. But we were doing surveillance. I had been on this case, oh my gosh, for months and months and months. And then one night we had gone to where he was living, and we were sitting there, and we were taking video, taking pictures, just watching, monitoring in and out. And then we started to leave, and we get onto this major street. We're driving down the street, we're looking in our rearview mirror, and I'm like, we just got followed out.
Oh.
And he looks, and he says, yeah, it's been with us for a while. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so all of a sudden, they're like racing. There's like 4 cars. They're racing to the side of us, to the back of us, trying to figure out who we are. And I'm like, let's lose this tail. Excuse me. So we basically are running all over the streets, and I'm like, okay, pull in here. So we pull in between 2 houses, and we turn off our lights. And we're waiting and waiting. And all of a sudden, we see the one car go by. We see it turn around and come right back. And then we see the other car go by, and I'm like, we're sitting there watching and laughing, because they're like, we lost you. We're watching and go up and down the street looking for us.
Wow.
Yeah, and we didn't know anything until we went to court. We were actually supposed to go to court on this. Turns out they were, and not to say anything bad about the feds, but they were feds. We were so
Federal
good that we
agents,
lost
yeah.
federal agents.
So that's very awesome.
I know. That was really amazing. We're like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome.
So you guys go to court a lot for a lot of the cases that you guys work?
We do. We're actually involved in 2 cases that are in court proceedings right now that we're testifying in.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is just amazing. And what got you into all this investigation work?
Well, I was, all of my degrees are in criminal justice and criminology. I also have some political science, police, and government work. And when I got out, I didn't really go right into it. I did work for attorneys. I did do some police ride-alongs and stuff. I was going to go on law in that direction. I did get my pre-law. But I ended up doing other things, which is great. I've done so many different jobs. It got me used to working with people, watching people, learning things about people. So after a while, I decided, God rest my best friend's soul, J.T. Trujillo, you probably knew him.
Trujillo.
Yeah.
He was a musician. He was also my buddy and my best friend.
Oh.
He was into the private investigative work
Oh.
with a private agency. So we kind of talked about it and decided I was going to start up my own agency, which was 12 years ago. And he helped me do it. And from there, it just became something that, you know, I could use my degree, and I love people, and we love to help people. So
Exactly. So it's just not people that just decided to have a company and, you know, let's do this. And, you know, we see movies, we know how it's done, you know, because a lot of people do that. You know, it's like, oh, well, I see how it gets done. You know, it's like, no, there's a lot of stuff that gets, you know, that is behind everything that you never find out.
Yeah.
So she has degrees, she has the knowledge, she has a lot of stuff experience because, you know, like you said with your friend, and he having a private investigation, you know, a company as well, probably give you a lot of tips and a lot of things that you needed to be done in order to have your own company.
yeah, you also have to have a gut instinct. I mean, sometimes when you're on the field, your gut, you have to listen to that. It's put us in so many good positions to find things. You just have to have that ability to do it.
We need a sidekick. Well, you know, a lot of times they're good. Like 98% of the time they're not.
Yeah.
So, but you know, if you found the 2%,
Right.
you're really good. But yeah, a lot of stuff, you know, is like you had to go with it. Like you said, you know, when you had the feeling about the people on the house where everybody, you know, was watching the house, it's like, okay, let's get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, probably was one of the best things that you
It
were able
is.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we like I said, it can be dangerous too. And if you're not ready to go into that danger and know how to operate under being afraid, being scared, knowing that your next moment, your next movement, yeah, all of that, you have to be able to face that and know what to do in those situations.
Yeah, like the
It could turn on you so
nerves.
quick.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
it's like, okay, do you see that? It's like, oh, they're lying, you know. So right away you had to
Yeah.
kind of be able to control yourself and your emotions. That's really hard. I mean, even on the movies, we're watching a movie and we're like, you know, attached to the seat, and it's like, oh my god, you know. Imagine if you're right there, you know, when the action is happening and everything. So, so what else did you guys do on your company?
We do murder investigations. We've had a couple of murder investigations as well. Those last a little bit longer. And,
Okay.
yeah, and I just want to tell people it's not like TV.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like calling you a week
TV
later.
edition, you know, so they edit months and months and
Yeah.
months, you know. Sometimes
Way
it
too
takes
many
a long time.
CSI watchers
Yeah.
out there.
Yes. It's like, well, it was so easy. Do you see how they did it? But that's not real life.
No,
I
it
mean,
isn't.
it can be, you know, a little bit like it, but not exactly.
No, and if you look at it, you know, sometimes like Cheaters. Do you remember Cheaters? And it
Yes,
was all like,
yes.
if you look at that, there's a little bit of disclaimer on the bottom that said 4 months later, 6 months later, it's about this small. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like it is not that quick. And we've got people calling us. We just pick up the case a couple days later. So, what did you find out? I'm like,
I'm still reading
Right.
it.
I'm still working. Thank you.
We don't solve cases in 30 minutes
No.
most of the time.
Yeah.
There's been a couple that have been solved really quickly, but you know, a day or two, but not in 30 minutes. No, it just
No.
doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, or like you said, you know, with murder investigations, I'm sure you guys have to go through so much from the past, from the person that got murdered,
Yeah.
you know, the people that are like, I don't know, like involved in the case. You know,
Right.
you have to investigate everybody around this person.
Every piece, every puzzle that you come upon, you really have to analyze that. Make sure your data's correct. You have to find people. You have to talk to people. You have to look at police records. You know, just see whatever's about. It takes a while. I had one death investigation that took, what was it, about a year?
A little over, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well, you've still got one that's gone on
I still have
ongoing
one.
for
Yes.
18 months now.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was a possible murder investigation.
Mhm.
So, is the client patient?
Very, and I just
Good.
want to say we've had some amazing clients as well as some not so amazing clients. I won't get into that, but they've been very patient, and just I've kept in touch with them, let them know what's going on, and they understand that it does take a while, and they want to get the truth.
Exactly. And when you get those clients that they're very impatient, that they're just so anxious, do you get to the point where you're like, you know what, here's your case, I'm just not going to be working with you because besides you need to be concentrated on the case, and you also concentrate on how you're going to keep your client like calm down,
Right.
that's just too much.
Yeah, we do have a contract that states, they'll let us do our job, they won't harass us, they won't push us. There's a lot of things that they're not allowed to do because it puts us at risk.
Yes.
And sometimes they ruin their own investigations, and when you tell them, don't get involved, let us do our job, let us do what you paid us to do. So yeah, sometimes they are very impatient, sometimes they're very rude. They are, and they're not being reasonable. You can't reason with them, and that comes to the point where they're calling you in the middle of the night, they're yelling at you, and at that point I'm just like, you know what? If you don't feel comfortable with us, we definitely don't feel comfortable taking this case. So maybe you should find somebody else, and because it's better that way. Like you said, it doesn't help anything when everybody's upset and
you're
can't work with
stressed
them.
out. Yeah, exactly. You cannot really, and also you cannot really trust anymore this client because if some patient, you kind of like, what are they going to tell me that is a lie for me to keep moving or move faster? And you can't trust them anymore.
Exactly, and we've had people lie to us, and that's a big no-no because if you're not giving me the truth, and it's possible you're the one that's causing the issues, and if I've got to go to court to testify, I'd rather not be involved in this at all.
Exactly.
So it comes to that point. I mean, we do everything we can to work with our clients, to listen to them, to try and calm them down, to let them know that we're working on it. But there does come a point where you're just going to have to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you anymore. You won't let me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, either I spend my time talking to you and telling you every second of my day, or I spend the time and every second of the day I spend on researching what I need to be researching.
Exactly. I mean, there's times they even want to be on the field. They'll call us, where are you? I want to come down. What's the address? You're like, I don't think so.
And also, like, I know a lot of people go out there and they try to do their own investigation, and it's like, I'm going to find out what's going on. And then they totally, they find them. They're like, okay, you've been, sneaking out and, you're trying to see what I'm doing, but I see you too. And then they come to you. What do you guys do?
I'm going to say that, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart and my brain, the top of my brain. Do not, and I'll repeat, do not do your own investigation. You will mess it up. 99% of the time you will mess it up. You're either going to alert someone because you're not that good. You may think, I can follow people. I mean, there's things you have to do so that they don't know you're following them. But, I mean, you will alert them that you're doing it, which pretty much if we take on the case, we're going to have to be very careful, and it's going to be extra hard to follow them after that.
Yep.
You're also probably following, if they're involved with somebody, you're following whoever they're with, which is against the law because you're stalking. They have every right to get a restraining order on you if they see you around their property. You're not licensed to do that. So, and for the most part, I mean, I would say you will mess it up. We've had cases where they have totally messed it up, and the people are driving crazy because they know they've been followed before. So we have to work extra hard or get 2 units on it. It's just not worth you messing that up.
Blowing red lights, yellow lights. I mean, and completely disobeying traffic laws, speeding. There was one that we were tailing that she was doing 65 miles an hour in a 35 zone.
True story.
Wow.
Going through red lights.
Yeah, going through red lights, every single one, not
Right.
just an occasional one. It's like every single yellow light, blow through, every single red light, blow through. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
It was.
And this person was like the lover of.
Suspected cheater.
A suspected cheater in a relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine she was probably going crazy the whole time. Every time that she went out, like trying to think, like what's going on.
Paranoid.
And we didn't know at first why she was driving like this. And I started giving information to my client. He started showing up at some of these places.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just put it together, and I'm like, this is why he's doing the investigation as well, and he's taking my information, and he's showing up at these places, and we terminated that. That's too dangerous to get in the middle of all that.
Yeah, especially because, like, this person could have just died.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She
Or
was a little,
kill somebody.
Yeah, and she was a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit unstable to begin with, and I didn't want her, thinking, oh, they're following me, and maybe approach us or be looking around, or
Yeah.
it just ruins it.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and one of the things that they don't realize, when they're following somebody and it's like, okay, the light turned yellow and now it's red, but I'm just gonna pass it.
Right.
That's putting a lot of people in danger, not just themselves. Like, okay, well, you got in a car accident and then you die. Well, it's your fault. But if you get in a car accident and you kill somebody else, that was, it was the red light, the green light, or they were just walking by, or something like that. That's when it gets, to the point that it's like, that was just a no.
Yeah, and I never do put my team in danger. There's times when we have to pull out because it is just too dangerous, and I'm not going to put us at risk. Just like you said, you could be in a place where something happens in a car accident.
Yes.
Because you're trying to stick with them, and they have no business driving like that anyway, because you caused that.
Yeah, exactly. So that is
Yeah.
pretty bad. But so a lot of the people, if you want your investigation, don't start it yourself. Just give whatever you have, give it to them, and they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
That's it, and give them their time.
Yeah.
So that's one of the most important things. So, what else do you guys want to talk about?
Also, don't put any tracking devices and things like that in the car by yourself. Try to track their phones. We are licensed, and there's also things that we're not allowed to do. It's a gray line to know that you're violating privacy. You can't follow people just because you want to. So, yeah, don't think you can get away with it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can just say, well, I'm just an investigator. Well,
Yeah.
no, you have to have license.
Yeah.
Right?
We call
Exactly.
them junior PIs.
Junior PIs. Or wannabes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, on one side of my industry, photography and, modeling and stuff, everybody that gets a camera, it's like, I'm a photographer. So that's pretty much
It's
what
the same
you guys
thing. I have a
you know.
tracking device.
Yeah, it's like, I can do this, my own. But it's a lot of stuff, and especially there are kids involved or something like that, just think about them that, something happens to you and the other person, like, the kids, where they're going to end up,
Yeah. And right now I've got a case that I'm working, it's a custody case, and there's allegations of stalking and stuff like that. So, yeah, you need to be careful with that. And let somebody get the evidence you need to go to court. I've had people say, I need this, I need that. And I'm like, no, you don't. This is what you need. This is what the judge is going to look at to make his ruling, not what you say. So
because they
you
want
need a
more
third party.
information, it's
Yeah,
like, they're
and-
not over yet.
Yeah, and it's not like you said, she said. You need evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what else do you ask your clients for when they come to you?
It depends on the case. It really depends on the case, what we need to make that work. Each case is different, so we'll sit down with you. We'll take the time to figure out what it is you need and what it is you have already that we don't need to start at ground one. Some people do start at ground one. That's okay. So I just...
So you get one of those cases, my mom loves to watch the IG channel,
Yeah.
and those type of things, and there's some crazy stuff in there that they're actually based on real life. So where somebody wants to kill somebody because of the money and all the properties and things like that.
Right.
Do you guys get those type of cases?
We do. We get some that are so hush-hush we really aren't allowed to talk about. But yeah, there's so many different cases out there, so many different things people are going through. But, it really depends on the case. They're all individual.
Yeah, because sometimes, people want somebody to die because of the money. Other times
Yeah.
it's because of the kids, custody and stuff like that. And others is just like, they don't want to ask for a divorce, so they just want to kill that person.
Yeah, or they have like this really big insurance, death insurance on them.
Yes.
That's come through too.
The sad ones are the ones that it was like $2,000, and it's like $2,000, and you kill this person for $2,000.
I know, and then your life is over.
Yeah,
Why did you
get
do that?
caught, and it's like now you're in jail forever. What was those $2,000 worth?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Say $20.
Yeah, that is
It happens
so
every
bad.
day out on the street. People get killed over $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so sad.
Yeah.
And do you deal with clients all over the United States, or just here in Colorado, or what are your perimeter?
Oh yeah, I have clients all over the United States, and some actually in different countries I've attempted to help. So it's all over.
Wow.
We are licensed, however, here in Colorado, so a lot of our if you have surveillance, tailing, anything like that, we will do that in all over Colorado. Now, as far as in an international, I will get in touch with some of the people that I do know, some of my networking that are in different places,
Okay.
and we can take the case and work with them in another place, and if we have to go down, they'll be the lead on it. So it can extend outside of Colorado.
Okay, because we have an audience from all over the world right now that they're listening to us, and one of our biggest audiences is like New Mexico, you know.
Yes.
So would you guys talk to somebody that you know over there, or you guys will go there?
We can start the case here as far as doing all the background research, court documents, any felony charges, anything like that. We can start here and then just take it where it needs to go.
Okay, so pretty much all the paperwork to get all the information about what you guys gonna be doing the next step.
Right, and then I'll get in touch with someone, another PI that I know that's in, let's say, New Mexico or wherever, and we'll be in on that investigation. But we'll go under their license. We'll take the lead.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
take the lead on that. So.
Because they will have the license for the state.
Correct.
Look at that. We learned a lot today. So that is very interesting. So right now, do you have any international clients?
Right now, at this moment, no. Those have been closed.
Wow. Where was it, your last one?
It was outside of Asia.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of stuff also with the language. You know?
We also had one in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a death investigation.
What state?
You know the Playa del Carmen area?
Yes, yes,
There.
yes.
Yeah,
I've
Quintana
actually
Roo.
Quintana Roo.
Yeah, Quintana Roo. Yeah, wow.
I actually have a couple out of there.
Wow. But I think because it's like a tourist place and or either just like very rich people live there, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on and people disappearing and things like that. Especially when you're not on the tourist area, you know, that's when you kind of, a lot of people is like, well, if I go there, I'm going to get killed and stuff. It just depends where you go. You know, if you know, it's like here, you're not going to go to, I don't know, well, before it was the 5 points, you know, it was,
I remember
not going to
that.
go 5 points at the middle of the night, you know.
That's something you wouldn't do.
Exactly. So, and even Colfax, they're getting it better now, but, you know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on there still.
Yes.
So you're not gonna go walking there looking all, you know, fly and everything and flashing
your best jewelry.
Exactly. You're not gonna go there like even when it's getting dark, you know. So that's the same thing on I think in every country, you know, every state, you know, every city has spots where you should not be there at all.
Yeah, there is a lot going on in Mexico right now. So
Yeah.
any place you go, just be careful.
Yeah, that's what I say. You know, it's like a lot of places are so beautiful. They have their beauties in every single country. You know, and you just have to use your head, your gut. You know, it's like okay. You
Always be aware.
know,
Yeah, you'd be surprised what's out on the street. So just always be aware of what's around you, your surroundings.
and I need to do that too because you know, like I get this thing where I go to the stores and I try not to look at anybody because that's just me. Like I feel like if I look at somebody, they're gonna be like, hey.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, what are you looking at? You know, because that's how it was, you know, like now.
That used to be the Hispanic culture.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
like,
looked at someone,
hey.
it's like, hey, what's that? Why are you looking at me like that? What
Exactly.
do you want?
So I try not to look, you know, people is like, and then later I see people following me through the store.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to pay more attention, you know, to see who that person was or something like that.
Lots of missing people. We do have a lot of those. We just located a missing child. That was another story that we did. We were racing through the streets with this car in our sight, talking to dispatch the whole way. I mean, you really have to be careful. A lot of missing people, not just children, but adults, women. You'd be amazed at what's out there. So yeah, you really have to be careful.
You know, before they used to say, boy, it's only the kids, but now, you know, they're not women. And now it's
Old
just like
people.
everybody. It's, you know, especially like I was watching some of the cases that are going on is like older people because they attack the older people because they know they have their little savings. Well, some of them they have just a little bit, but they still killing people for just a little bit of money.
It's
You know, yeah, or they know that they have some type of jewelry that they've been saving forever, so they just follow this older people and just, you know, try to get into their house, whatever, apartment, and steal whatever they have.
Some people, there's just no reason. They're just crazy.
Yeah, there's
And
a
you
lot
just
of those
happen
too.
to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the sad truth.
Yeah, that is so crazy. But anything else that you would like to let them know and where they can contact you? If you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have a webpage, what do you have?
We do have a web page. It's www.coloradoinvestigative, that's with TIVE agency.com. We're also on Facebook. We're also all over the web. If you want to give us a call, it's 303-522-4898. Again, that's 303-522-4898.
You looked at me, I was like, no, I don't know, I'm sorry.
What was that number again?
Can I give you your line?
But yeah, just give us a call. You can also email us at CIA@coloradoinvestigativeagency.com. And just, I mean, if you have something going on in your life and you're not sure, we have a 1-hour free consultation over the phone.
Awesome.
So give us a call. I'll be willing to talk with you, see what's going on, and we can take it from there. We can meet up. I'll show you my license. We'll do a contract, and we're there on your side.
That is so good.
Yeah.
You know, especially because a lot of people are like, well, what about if some people are like, okay, well, I'll charge you half an hour, this much money. It's like,
Yeah.
but what about if they don't even hear me in the half an hour, but an hour free consultation?
Yeah.
That is amazing. And I know that you guys have gotten a lot of awards for being one of the best agencies here.
We have. Those are also listed on our website. We get a lot of those.
Yeah, see, so they're not just playing investigator out there.
No.
They're really doing their job, and they're amazing people because I heard a lot about them before. So I'm so glad that they were able to be here this morning and telling us a little bit about what you guys do and how you can help everybody out there. There's so many people, and I know that they said your prices are really, reasonable. So it's not like skyrocketing. Sometimes a lot of people say, well, hiring a private investigator is going to be a lot of money. But I guess it depends on the case and how much stuff is involved, and just talk to them.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on tonight.
Yes,
Today.
No,
I
you're
almost said tonight.
welcome.
We've been working so much. I almost said tonight.
They don't know if it's day or night,
night.
but I totally understand.
Yeah.
Last night I hardly had any sleep, and it's like,
Oh, I didn't.
okay.
I haven't had any in days. I mean, we're gone working. Sometimes it's overnight. Sometimes it's 12, 13 hours a day.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yeah.
And how you keep focus?
You do. You
You
just
just
learn to do.
concentrate?
You concentrate. Well, should I tell them?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Everybody's listening. I mean,
I know where you're going with this.
yeah. We were on this case for, 18 hours?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a drug case, and we happened to be followed to this drug house one night. We were sitting out there watching the windows, the doors were open, the TV was on. I guess they were getting high. And so we started, I believe, what time did we start?
Oh, that one? That was like that morning, early.
Yeah.
And it was about 3 o'clock, 3:30 at night, or the next morning, I guess you would call
In the
it.
morning.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
We're sitting there watching, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep. And I looked over at him, and I'm like, Steve, wake up.
Yeah, like you too.
Was I snoring?
Well, because sometimes it might be just hard just waiting.
We were on it for 18
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
It was the middle of the night. Nothing was going on. We just decided to hang out a little bit longer. Our shift was over, but we're like, let's just see if anything happens. So.
Because sometimes when it's stuff happening, that kind of keeps you alert. Like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let's do this and just wait for whatever is next. But when there's nothing happening, I
Right.
think, that's probably like...
Oh, yeah. That's the only time that happened, but it's, we're human.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I tell people, when I went to college, I was working also like 10, 12 hours a day, and I was going to college full time. And I hardly got any sleep, because how you did it. And I was like, I think your body adjusts,
It does.
to all the stuff. It's like, okay, you had your 20 minutes tonight. Sleep your 20 minutes and get ready, go to work, and then school and homework and all that stuff, So that's why everybody's like, I can do college. I'm like, I did it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can
too.
do it. Your
Yes.
body will adjust.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. So it is always an adjustment, and but especially with you guys, I think for you guys it's hard just sitting there and waiting. So that is
Oh, definitely.
yeah, especially like I'm so impatient. I'm like, didn't the person say 8? It's like 8:01, And whoever knows me, they know.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Yes,
See, what
absolutely.
I like to do, like when they said, okay, be here at 11, I like to be there 10 minutes before or 15 minutes before,
Yeah.
and that's for me. That's on time. If I get there right at 11 or whatever, or 8,
It's stressful.
yeah, it's like, am I gonna make it? Because anything can happen. Accidents, on the road.
Absolutely.
You get
Construction.
distracted. Yes, exactly. So, no parking.
Oh, yeah.
Parking. How you guys do that? You guys have gone into downtown to investigate anything
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
and can't
do it
find
all
any
the time.
parking?
We don't worry about it.
No.
I have, a lot of times, the police department, wherever we're at, they're very,
Oh,
very helpful.
Yeah, we call it.
We call them,
Nice.
we let them know where we're at, if we need any backup. They're always there, just like in that kidnapping case with that child. We had units all around us.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
So, yeah,
Yeah.
they've been awesome.
well, that's good
Yeah.
because let me tell you, I hate downtown.
Yeah,
When we broke off of that case, 4 squad cars went in on that vehicle.
And then there were a couple on the other side
Yes,
already,
Yeah.
coming from a different direction.
waiting for them.
So it was a good ending.
It was an awesome
Oh,
ending.
yeah.
Yeah, this little girl had been missing for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so sad. Like when somebody takes, the kid without thinking, what if this was my kid?
Yeah.
Like, or sometimes that the parent is the one that
Sure.
kidnapped the kid, and take
Yeah.
it somewhere else. They never think about the kid is missing the mom, the dad,
Right.
it's whatever
Their
happened
lives are
between you
changing.
two. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, and take them to a very different environment. Especially they are already adjusted to where they are.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It is a lot of. They don't understand like how much that impacts into a kid.
Right.
Changing schools, changing friends, and all that. It has a high
Well,
impact.
Yeah, don't do that. That's going to ruin your chances of ever getting custody of your children at all. We had a case where it was a very well-known case.
Mhm.
It was in the media, and we were involved in trying to locate this kid. The dad ended up going to prison and not being able to see his child whatsoever
And the
because
grandpa.
the grandfather because he aided and abetted in it.
Oh.
And he just wanted to see his son, so he kept him. He had visitation, and he kept him for months and months and months, and then ended up leaving the state. So because he was scared, they were going to take him from him. So don't ever do it yourself. Don't ever. You're going to ruin your chances of any visitation and custody at all.
And I know there's people that say, well, the person, my
has
spouse, they're not treating them right. But
Mhm.
let them do the investigation, There's also other help, on the government that they can help you finding the truth about it. If you try to take, justice in your own hands, you might not see your kid again.
That's right.
It's true.
So
true.
it is hard.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's see if we have any questions for you guys here. Annette Olivas, thank you for watching. Osari Salas, thank you for watching. Annette, hola Silvia. Hola Annette. Isidro Archuleta, thank you for watching. Tommy B, thank you for watching. Torres Joshua, thank you for watching. I haven't seen you in a while. I mean, here. It was like, oh, you've seen before. No.
We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you. Estela, besitos, amiga. Darlene Hernandez. Hi, I know, I haven't seen you forever. I saw the photo. You took a very cute photo with the laugh doctor last night. Isidro, good morning, primo el jefe. Yeah, el jefe is behind cameras today. He misbehaved, sorry. He did, right?
Yes.
He misbehaved.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
this
He did.
morning he did. They're witnesses.
We witnessed it.
Yeah.
We took pictures and everything.
Yeah, see, it's documented. But yeah, Elroy, thank you for watching. My Martinez kisses. Johnny, kisses, my friend, thank you. Digler Armenta, Mr. Armenta. Javier Almeida, thank you for watching. Lalo, how are you? How's the wifey, Kika? Hopefully pregnancy is going well. I can't remember when the baby was due. I don't think he's there yet, but I'll get in contact with you. Robert Joseph Lopez, thank you for watching. What up, KUHS fam? Namash, missing you over here. Adam Casados, thank you for watching. Raúl Bejarano, kisses, primo, te amo. Buenos días, prima, saludos. Silvia Bejarano, that's my mom. Thank you, ma. Juan, hola, amigo. And my mom, hola, saludos, so she says hi. But if you have any questions, you can always, contact them, or me or Henry, and we'll go ahead and forward the questions to them. You want to repeat your information again?
303-522-4898. And please leave a message. Sometimes we're on the field and we don't get
And
your
they're working
signal.
so many hours.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
so please leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as
They
we
can
can.
actually text to that number
You can
too.
also text.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because I know probably it's easier for you guys to receive a text.
It's
Absolutely.
much easier to
Yeah.
receive a text.
'Cause
Yes.
For me too, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
don't try to call me. You know, because when you guys are on the field,
Focused.
you know, yeah, you have to be focused. They cannot get distracted, or they cannot have the phone ringing. So that's much better for them. And also, when they're not on the field, they're probably getting some rest. So
That's right.
yeah. So make sure you just text them, email them, you know, and then they'll return your call or your message, and you guys can set up a date or time to talk, you know, if that's what you want to talk on the phone, and get your free hour consultation.
Yes.
So, yeah. So thank you so much for being with us here in Canciones de Domingo, KUHS Denver Radio and TV station. Thank you
Thank
both
you.
for
Thank you so
being
much.
here. You know, I know you guys are tired. And,
We are.
and you guys
We're
are
exhausted.
here.
But
Yeah, but see, they get adjusted. And guess what? They were here early. So some of my guests out there, I'm just kidding. But they only work 8 hours a day. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but they're awesome. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And like I said, you know, any questions, go ahead and text us or text them, and we'll forward the information to them. So, I'll see you guys. Gracias por estarnos viendo aquí en Canciones de Domingo, KUHS Denver Radio y Televisión. Y recuerden, si tienen alguna pregunta para nuestros investigadores privados, mándenme a mí la pregunta y yo se las puedo mandar a ellos, se las traduzco. O si, do you guys have any Spanish, like, help, like translation
if
or
we
anything
need it,
like
we
that?
will. We have helped people who are bilingual before. So.
Okay, so tienen información también, o tienen a personas que pueden ayudarles si nada más hablan español. Ellos se encargan de casos, como estaban diciendo, de encontrar a sus padres biológicos, a sus hijos biológicos, a personas que andan buscando, tienen problemas también para agarrar custodia de sus hijos. Ellos también investigan a la otra persona, también casos de muerte, y eso ya es un poquito más fuerte, pero también hacen esos casos. Así que cualquier pregunta que tengan o cualquier, tienen una hora de consulta gratis. Así que les pueden textear, y ellos consiguen a alguien que hable español para que les traduzca a ustedes. Así que toda la información la vamos a tener en las páginas del Facebook, para que puedan agarrar la información de ellos, o mándenmela a mí y, como les digo, yo se las mando a ellos. Pero muchas gracias por estarnos viendo. Nos vemos el domingo que entra, y que tengan muy buen domingo. Thank you so much for being with us, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Thank you.